It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we're Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. All right, here we go. New poll out about Fetterman and Democrats in Pennsylvania. You ready?
Yeah.
Now, as they write here, Fox wrote the story, so it's like the Democratic Senator John Fetterman, who has repeatedly bucked party lines this year, is getting a big thumbs down from Democrats in his home state. 54% of Democrats in Pennsylvania questioned in the latest poll said they disapprove of the job Fetterman is doing representing the state, with just 33% approving. That's a stunning switch from last year when 80% of Pennsylvania Democrats approved of the job the senator was doing in Congress, with just 10% disapproving. Wow. His disapproval rate has gone up 42 points.
Wow.
Meanwhile, state Republicans are giving him a thumbs up. 62% of Republicans questioned in the poll said they approve of the job Fetterman is doing, with just 21% disapproving.
By the way, he keeps having to answer the question, are you going to switch parties? And he keeps saying, no, I'm not going to switch parties. But he keeps saying, no, I'm not going to switch parties, like somebody who's about to switch parties.
You said that to me the other day when I walked in. You said
He said it so often.
Yep.
It's like there's it's like anything in magic. Well, if you say it 3 times, it happens. You say it so many times, it actually happens. And he's said it, I don't know, several times because he keeps getting the question. But it really sounds like he's said. Fetterman has said so many times, I'm not switching parties. It sounds like he's about to switch parties.
But seriously, he's a 2015 Democrat. He's still a liberal.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing.
Yes.
He's still a liberal.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, well, I voted for all the subsidies for Obamacare.
Yeah.
But I voted not to close down the government.
Now, if the Republicans in this poll, if he were a Republican, the Republicans in this poll, how would you measure him as a Republican?
Oh, okay.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're a Republican measuring him, giving him the thumbs up as a Democrat, you're kind of saying in a way, well, he's helping us in a way. But if you're having to measure him by the standards of being a Republican, then I would say that might be different.
Or I would look at it, again, you can look at it, each individual looks at it differently. I would look at it as not that he's helping the Republican Party as much as he is helping the Republican Party by exposing how radical the Democrats are.
Yes.
That's what he's doing.
Right, yeah. Look, he's been pretty clear on it, on Israel, on a number of things. He's been very clear on it, and he doesn't hide from it.
So 62% of Republicans questioned in the poll said they approve of the job he's doing, just 21% disapproving. Last year, 75% disapproved. That is a 54% change among Republicans.
Well, yeah.
Independents, unchanged.
All right.
They probably just reversed. It was 50-50. Now it's 50-50.
Now it's 50-50, but it's the other people that are 50.
Right, but everybody reversed.
That's so funny. It makes sense, actually.
Now, we got to play this audio because since we're talking senators, let's play another Democratic senator who sometimes, he likes to pretend because he's quiet most of the time. He was quiet when he ran for office.
Yeah.
Trying to pretend that he's some type of moderate. This is Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona.
All right.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, yeah.
He definitely was an astronaut because he's out in space when it comes to economics.
Yeah.
Listen to this conversation that he had talking about billionaires. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go.
The pay package for Tesla for Elon could turn him into a trillionaire.
Oh, gosh.
We don't need trillionaires.
No, why? Seriously. I mean, we have, again, housing issues. We have people who have issues paying their student loans, living. I mean, we've got a lot of other issues, and it's just like, how many more zeros do you need?
You don't. We could have tax policy in our country where people could still be a billionaire, but somebody, maybe they're not going to be worth $400 billion. Maybe they'll be worth $50 billion.
Right.
And the rest of that money could go to healthcare.
Right.
It could go to higher wages for working folks so they could send their kids to college so they could buy a house.
Right.
And we know how to fix this. It's pretty straightforward.
It is.
You know,
How stupid is he? Is he plain stupid?
Wow.
Or is he really that stupid?
Well, and how smart would it be to play that stupid? How stupid do you have to be to play that stupid?
Now, stupid is a level above moron, right? On the
No,
moron,
I don't think no. It was
imbecile or idiot.
idiotic, moronic,
Okay.
and imbecile. Moron is the smarter of those three. Stupid is as stupid does.
Oh, I forgot to wear it.
Yeah. What?
Oh, it's Friday.
What were you going to wear?
Well, I usually during football season I go on and off with I only have 2 football jerseys.
Right. Yeah.
People say, "Oh, one of them is a Bills jersey, right?" Are you kidding me? You ever see the cost if you want an NFL jersey?
Yeah.
It's like $150, $200.
Oh, wow.
You crazy? I'm not going to spend that kind of money.
Yeah.
No, for like $25, I got a great football jersey. One, number 33, Polk High, Al Bundy's jersey that I wear.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is Gump, the red 44 jersey.
Oh, yeah.
I have a Gump football jersey.
Yeah.
Gump football. I really do. I'm not kidding. I have a Gump football jersey. The only 2 football jerseys I have.
Yeah.
It's like I walked in
Nice.
one time. This goes back about 10 years ago. And I was at an NHL game. I was in Buffalo visiting and got tickets and went to a hockey game. We went to the store after, and I go, be nice to get something with a hockey emblem on, right?
Yeah.
And back 10 years ago, it was like $175.
Yeah.
For what? Are you kidding me?
Oh no,
No way.
My one of my daughters wanted a Mike Modano jersey for Christmas, and I got it, and she still has it. I mean, it was it was expensive.
Yeah.
It was expensive back then.
Well, I mean, seriously, what we should do is we should just, they don't need all those zeros behind the billion. So take some of the zeros away and subsidize it so I can buy a hockey jersey or a regulation football jersey.
Right. The average person should be able to afford it. Yeah.
But I mean, Marquette, what an idiot. Yeah. As if the whatever he's worth now, was it 400 something billion? All he needs is 50. So what do you do with the rest? You're saying government confiscates the wealth.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Right. What does that look like?
What does that look? How do you do that?
What constitutes that wealth?
Right.
Well, it's stock.
Exactly.
It's ownership in companies.
It's investment in companies.
So then the question would be, let's just say we're going to go down that road. Well, first of all, the first thing you would have to do is everybody, not billionaires. Everybody would have to be audited every year. Why is that? Well, the government doesn't know if you all of a sudden became a crypto billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
That could have happened. Things happen. You found some gold doubloons. I don't know.
Well, no, that they could be listening to Red Eye and hear that caller a few years ago accused both you and I of being billionaires.
Exactly.
And the IRS said, billionaires? Are you kidding me?
You could come up with a great
Really?
idea like a solar-powered a tanning bed.
Yeah, as you have,
and,
yes.
and make tens of billions of dollars.
So far, you haven't made a cent.
I haven't.
You're still
I
working.
haven't started on it.
You're still working on the marketing angle of it.
The prototype is in. It's. I got to decide which lawn chair to use.
Well, you need a lawn chair with a cup holder.
Yeah, exactly. And because that's the only way for the government to fully know how many people are in that. Because the people that are in, you may think to yourself, as a populist or as somebody who doesn't, put a lot of thought into it or whatever, people may think that the wealthy is one just constant list of the same people. The Rothschilds, the Colonel, his wee bitty eyes, all of it, but it's the Elon Musks.
Yeah.
It's
got to update that.
I know. I really wish Mike Myers would do just that family. Do that family as a movie.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, the wealthy, it's a rotating list. Buffett's up there, Elon Musk is up there. You got your handful that are in the news, famously wealthy people. But if you're going to look at this, because there's a revolving list, it would require that if the government's fully going to do this, they would have to audit people's wealth all the time. And then you take from that, all right, let's say we get to the point of then confiscating the wealth. So you're going to take the wealth of an Elon Musk or a Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is where it hits home. And the reason is because he owns the Washington Post and also owns Amazon. The store you depend on for everything. And that's going to hit home emotionally with the liberals because you're going to go after his stock. If you're going to take his wealth, it's the stock that he owns in the company.
Right.
And so you're going to take that stock. Well, now is the government going to sell the stock? Because if there's a huge sell-off in the stock, then that stock price is going to drop dramatically.
You would be forced to sell off the stock, which would then destroy the value of the stock.
Unless they say, well, no, what we could do is we could confiscate the wealth and the government owns the stock.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which the government would own that chunk of the company.
And since Trump has started the equity in companies thing, the left would just jump on that and say,
right on
this is our easy way to communism, just the wealth tax, and we'll own all the major companies. We'll have all the stock and then be able to control everything that happens in those companies. But for Mark Kelly to say, well, this is easy to do, it would be horrible to do. Remember, it was actually Trump in his book in 1999 that suggested a wealth tax. And then he had to back off on it when they said, you can't do that. You have to, you'd have to liquefy all the assets and it would destroy all these different companies. And so he had to say, okay, I'm no longer for the wealth tax after he put it in his book way back then.
Well, and I even heard one of the more conservative people on CNBC. It wasn't Kudlow at the time, but it was I think it was Joe from the morning show say, well, maybe we should look at a one-time, one-off thing. Well, what's the threat of that? Well, the threat of that is if they do it once, well, we know we could do it again.
Oh, no, we're seeing it right now. Temporary Obamacare subsidies to be made permanent.
Exactly.
Duh.
Right. You can't do that. It's not going ever to be a good idea. There isn't, unless you're a liberal who wants, again, the government to take over these companies and means of production. And then at that point, Bernie's going to tell you, you don't need all these things on Amazon. You only get one choice on every item, and you don't need every item. And you're not going to get it there same day or next day you'll get it there in 4 to 6 weeks like we used to.
From Battle Creek, Michigan.
Exactly.
Nobody remembers that unless you grew up
Not
in the
available
60s.
in Alaska, Hawaii, or Puerto Rico.
Anything you ordered always seemed to me came from Battle Creek, Michigan.
Chicago, Illinois, 60609.
I'd order something, from Boy's Life. It'll be coming to you from Battle Creek, Michigan, 4 to 6 weeks for delivery.
Yeah.
I remember thinking to myself, is everything made in Battle Creek?
Right. and that's it. I mean, they would love that. The left would love that. That's their dream.
866-90 Red Eye.
Brought to you by FPPF, Fuel Power Max.
Leased owner-operators should be aware of 4 common revenue myths. Myth 1, concentrate on increasing revenue because costs will take care of themselves. Myth 2, more revenue per mile is the answer to all problems. Revenue per mile really doesn't change much from company to company. Myth 3, all you have to do to be successful is run a lot of miles. In reality, revenue is only half of the profit equation. Myth 4, you can tell how well you're doing by the size of your settlement check. The settlement check is only a part of the success picture. Miles driven, loads hauled, conditions, mechanical problems, time off, and especially costs all have to be considered. Owner-Operator Business 101 is provided by Overdrive's Partners in Business program. Go to overdriveonline.com to the Partners in Business section of the website for more details on this and many other topics. Brought to you by Shell Rotella, with advanced synthetic technology is designed to help keep your rig running with more mileage and less maintenance.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90 Red Eye on Red Eye Radio.
We're at Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Looking here from Breitbart. 5 Democrats who may fold under pressure to end the government shutdown.
All right.
Shaheen in New Hampshire, but that's because she didn't know that. By the way, that's just great. It's all over social media.
Yeah.
We do not want to give illegal immigrants health care. Everybody raises their hands.
And then they show where all the Democrats raise their hands.
All of them raise their hands. But, so it goes, the senator also denied the Democrats are fighting to include illegal immigrants in the taxpayer fund health care. Seemed shocked when Fox News' Lawrence Jones played the clip of them saying otherwise. She's not seeking election in March, so she may change. They say Senator Gary Peters of Michigan, Peters, who announced that he would not seek re-election earlier this year, ripped the Republican legislation in a statement, but added that he's ready to work with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to get it done. Hassan in New Hampshire, the other senator representing New Hampshire, voted in March for the CR and announced Thursday she will keep working to find a bipartisan way to reopen the government. Gallego in Arizona, other than being part of a notable group of Democrats who appeared to wrestle with their no votes on Tuesday, Gallego is also among those viewed as potential key votes on the CR because he represents a state won by Donald Trump. And then Ossoff in Georgia voted no on the March CR, and on the Tuesday one, he indicated just before the shutdown occurred he's willing to work with Trump and Republicans to reopen the federal government and prevent these huge increases in health care costs for Georgia families. So there you go. But again, I think the Wall Street Journal is right on. The Republicans got to say, look, we know we're not going to get rid of Obamacare, but there's got to be major structural changes if you want these subsidies, because we can't continue doing this. And they need to explain to the public it's not just that all health care is going up this amount. It's that Obamacare is failing miserably, and point it out and make it simple to the American people. Here's why. Point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4.
Yeah.
We want structural changes to bring your health care costs down. The Democrats don't want to do it. We told you Obamacare wasn't going to work, but now we've got to work within the structure, here in order to attempt to do major changes or blah, 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 yada, yada, yada.
Exactly.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
And he's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Download our Red Eye Radio app today, and you can listen when and where you choose. All right, I just got to play this. I just saw it on X, and
right.
Chris Cuomo put this on TikTok, and so we played him over the years. I remember the one thing I always remember is when he was talking about hate speech was not protected speech. That's the one when he was on.
Yeah.
Still on
CNN.
CNN? Okay, yeah, CNN. I forgot which one he was on for a second there. And it was just like, wow. How do you get that wrong?
Yeah.
At that level, how don't you know what the Constitution protects? But here's what he had to say while stuck in traffic apparently, the other day. All right?
All right.
He put this on TikTok.
All right.
Here we go.
Stuck in traffic. I'm remembering right now. Wow. I'm wrong a lot. We don't like to say it. We don't like to admit it. We really don't like to correct it. But that is how you grow and you get to a better place. And it is such a precious commodity right now. I've been wrong. I've been wrong about political issues. I've been wrong about people. I've been wrong about myself. I've been wrong about my responsibilities. I've been wrong about my opinions, my tastes, my choices. I've been wrong. And that's okay. Hopefully you learn. Hopefully when you're wrong, you get to a better place if you do the work, unless you stubbornly hold on. And that's where so much of us are stuck. It's not just being wrong, it's refusing to learn what's right. I've been wrong.
And we agree.
Well,
he's right.
Here's what I would say to Chris Cuomo in response to that. We told you so.
Well, you did say during the break that you were wrong, though.
Well, because you didn't play the whole thing. At the end, he says, have you ever been wrong? Because if you say no, then you're wrong. Well, I have been wrong. I was wrong that time I said Chris Cuomo will never admit to being wrong. Clearly, I was wrong about that.
So he's just driving along going, God, I've been wrong on everything in my life. My choices, everything I've done, I've been wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I swear to you, it was almost as if this was like the opposite episode with George Costanza.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every choice I've ever made has been wrong.
Right.
And then Jerry says, well, if every instinct you have is wrong, then the opposite must be correct. and Seinfeld said many times where he goes, I mean, that's the dumbest piece of advice anybody could ever give out. And I did it as if it's a legit answer, that if you're doing everything wrong, do the exact opposite, and naturally everything will be right. But
by the way, one of the best episodes, one of my favorite episodes of all time.
Oh, the opposite?
Yeah.
Yeah. When he
just beautiful.
When he has the interview with the Yankees and George Steinbrenner.
Yeah.
All for the glorification of your massive ego. Hire this man.
Yeah. He can't do anything wrong.
And then he's in with the woman who wants him to come up.
Yeah.
You want to come up to the room? I don't think so. And then when she says, who are you, George Costanza? He goes, I'm the opposite of everybody you've ever met.
Oh, man.
Then remember, this is my religion. It becomes his religion. That's what Cuomo reminded me of. It's like a George Costanza moment.
Yeah.
He's driving, he's stuck in traffic. Because that's what it says, I'm stuck in traffic. Everything I've done in my life has been wrong. Do the opposite.
You know, Chris, you could just do the opposite.
Absolute Seinfeld moment.
Oh, my gosh.
And then I want to play this audio because this is really great because they continue this. This is what the Republicans have been playing when the Democrats are out there saying, and one senator got burned big time on Fox News, the one from New Hampshire got burned big time when she said, I don't know any Democrat that's ever said that they want money for health care for illegal immigrants. He goes, I'm so glad you said that, and then played this particular clip. But it goes further, and this clip was being played on social media yesterday, the version, a little bit of the extended version, which Buttigieg is asked to respond, and it was like, wow, Republicans are going to pound on this if he ever decides to run for president. Here we go, but here it is. This one.
A lot of you have been talking tonight about these government health care plans that you've proposed in one form or another. This is a show of hands question, and hold them up for a moment so people can see. Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants. Okay. Let me start with you, Mayor Buttigieg. Why? Mayor Buttigieg, why?
Because our country is healthier when everybody is healthier. And
okay, and it just goes on that, but I mean, but there, that clip is going to be played if he decides to run in 2028.
Oh yeah.
And anybody else on that stage who's there, I mean, Kamala Harris, again, that was being played yesterday when she was saying, no health care for everybody as they're screaming. And as we said, when you look at this overall, when you look at where this is going, the Democrats lose big time on they can't win the argument. They cannot win the argument on health care for illegals. They can't win that one.
Right.
The one that Republicans have to be careful about, and the talk, we said it yesterday, and then boom, there it was in the news. They're wondering, okay, what do we do now? What do we do now? Because if we knock out all these subsidies, that could make it so we lose next year, for Obamacare. And so we agree with what the Wall Street Journal said. Okay, if you're going to agree to do that, you need major reforms in Obamacare. You need to explain to the American people over the next couple of months that this isn't the normal cost of health care. This is because Obamacare is failing, government regulation involved in that.
Right.
Now, the only problem is when you have what is going on with the tariffs when it comes to pharmaceuticals and things like that, you've got some Republicans, even in this administration, how far does the president want to go with more government regulation of the healthcare system?
Right.
And with Robert Kennedy Jr. in there as a head of HHS and some of the things already going on, as we mentioned, with the one cancer drug, the experimental drug for melanoma, which are denied. That's always been our biggest disagreement of Trump putting him in there, is the fact that he believes in a national health care system.
Right.
And a lot of the people in there believe in a nationalized health care system that Robert Kennedy Jr. has hired. It's not where the Republicans want to go. So there's decisions to be made.
Well, and that's it. And again, the further along you go, because again, the pathology of dependency means if you're going to make a change and do away with one thing, you're going to have to replace it with something bigger or equal. You can't, people don't want to feel the pain. They just don't. This is why we're never going to get to the point of actually cutting the budget. Fiscal responsibility isn't going to happen in our lifetime. It's only going to happen by default, and it won't be responsibility. It will be the effect, the fallout. It will be the nuclear fallout, fiscally speaking, of the collapse once we cross a threshold. Once we cross the threshold of not being able to maintain the covenants on just the interest payments on the debt, we're going to start seeing that it's going to become very serious very quickly. And yet you can't get that through. You cannot get that through to people. The rank and file, the majority of people just aren't greatly concerned about it. If you poll them and ask them, hey, should we pay the national debt? Oh, yeah. Should we trim the fat in the budget? Oh, yeah. Okay, what should we trim? Nothing.
Well, it's, we got flack when we talked about the polling where the majority of Americans believe that if we cut waste, and foreign aid, we would balance the budget.
Right.
And we said, no, you won't.
No.
You've got massive reforms that need to be done on a variety of different things. That's just the fiscal reality.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it wasn't the case.
Right.
And when it came to Doge, we said the same thing. And we got criticized for it from many of our own listeners.
Yep.
When we said they're not going to cut $2 trillion from the budget.
Right.
Stop saying that. Stop being so incredibly optimistic. If you're going forward every day, Caroline Levitt, every day for that, well, really the first 2 months out there, this cut, we're doing massive cuts, trillions. Stop it. It wasn't going to happen. There are some efficiencies that they put in because of Doge. It's great. You're going on the right direction. Our goal was if you could cut $100 billion off, that would be great. And that would be an actual cut of $100 billion, not just cuts and adding somewhere else.
Right.
It has to be overall.
Right.
Doesn't matter if you say, well, you know something, I'm getting rid of that car payment, but hey, I'm putting a second mortgage on my house.
Mm-hmm.
That it doesn't cut it.
Right.
And so, we live in the real world. We live in the real economic world. We can't change economics. We can't change what happens when you put in debt. We can just tell you what's going to happen. Yep. You can't put your head in the sand and just pretend it's not going to happen because you like what the guy that you put in office is saying.
Right.
What you got doesn't matter what the guy who you put in office is saying. It's the economic reality. I can't change that. They can't change that.
No. No, they cannot.
Cracker Barrel is ending its partnership with Profit. That is Profit, Prophet. It is their consulting firm that came up with the idea to rebrand Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
See, this is the reality of economics.
Well, it is. It's also the reality of consulting firms, quite frankly. Consulting firms who inevitably walk in with something that's working tremendously and go, oh, we're going to change everything. Just wanting to justify their own existence. Oh, what we need to do is change everything. The entire basis for the business model. Why is it so old in here? Is it old in here or is it me?
Well, we hired all these 19-year-old whiz kids
exactly.
that had come in and said, well, this is ridiculous.
Right.
Why are you talking so high?
Exactly.
I haven't even entered puberty yet.
Right.
And I think you should make it more modern, a lot of glass and metal.
That's right. And people can bring their computers in and just buy one drink and stay here all day.
And that'll be our new business model.
Yeah. Also, unionize.
And, hey, let's discuss race.
That's right.
When you come in.
Let's write something on their plate.
Let's add,
next to the bacon.
I'm going to form a new restaurant where all you discuss is politics, religion, and race.
Seriously, that Starbucks meeting that proposed that idea, it had to have been, okay, wait a minute. Let me get this straight. You want us to start a fight? So what you're saying is take their order and then start a fight right before they leave. That's what you want? Is Joe Rogan going to be standing behind me by chance? Do I get any backup? Anything?
866-90-RED-EYE.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. All right, listen to this. Alan Dershowitz, okay? This should have made more news.
Okay.
Here we go. Alan Dershowitz.
All right. Okay.
I'm going to be supporting the Republicans in the midterm election. I'm hoping that the Republicans maintain control both of the House and the Senate. The last thing I want is Chuck Schumer to be head of the Senate, or Liz Warren to be chairperson of a committee, or AOC to be chairperson of a committee. The Democrats have not only lost my votes, but they have made me an enemy, essentially, by how they've moved away from American values, Israeli values, and values of decency. So I'm not only no longer a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, but I am a very anti-Democrat.
That's
Wow.
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 Well,
Wow.
MAGA, the new MAGA, make Alan great again. There you have it.
Now, there's going to be there. Well, there's a number of demographics that vote for Trump, including the Alan Dershowitz demographic.
Exactly. But we
Wow.
wondered about that because of the way that he talked and in legal terms in defending Trump over the years about, legally saying, okay, this is wrong, and this is wrong. And we pointed out, look, lifelong Democrat, but this is him officially announcing.
I know.
Wow, that is
I know.
big news.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.